Hello, Baker here. I recently did a stream of me analyzing patch 6.2 MSQ, and there were quite a few topics in it. Ergo, I decided to release these as kind of separate videos. I'm also adding some things here and there in post, but not much. I opted for this format because right now I don't have the time to produce these thorough analysis, so I figured I would at least upload something instead of ghosting you guys for an entire month while I'm busy. I hope you can enjoy these nonetheless. This video will be about Golbez. I'm going to talk about his importance, how they nailed his depiction in F14, and at the end we'll do some theory crafting because there's a lot of mystery to him. And needless to say, this video has spoilers for 6.2 MSQ, but there won't be spoilers to F4 besides a specific segment which I will warn you about. Yeah, I'm looking forward to fighting Rubicante and Golbez as well. And speaking of which, let's talk about Golbez a bit. Now, I even put him on the thumbnail because for me, like, I think probably my highlight of this patch was Golbez. Like, first of all, his voice actor, which I'm pretty sure it's the same voice actor as I think it's Fortunal's voice actor actually. I think it's the same one. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong though. But what did you guys think of Golbez? Like I myself thought he was really awesome. I think they really nailed him. Like I guess I will say though, I was surprised that his name wasn't literally Golbez. I expected him to at least have his like own name, but nah, he's just Golbez. But you know, I kind of see why they did that though, because they're being very faithful to his character. So, you know, they kind of just want to keep the same name. What I really liked about Golbez is that his depiction wasn't just like surface level. Like, it wasn't like this vapid, like, oh yeah, we'll just slap this dude in identical armor to Golbez. And you know, hey, it's cool FF4 reference, right? Like, no, they actually did a really good job at nailing what makes Golbez so iconic in the first place. Because Golbez, like at the start, I kind of talked about how FF4 was really like almost like a pioneer in a way, if you know what I mean. Like it was very ahead of its time as an RPG. Um, and one of those things definitely has to do with Golbez. Like Golbez is basically, when I think of like a classic fantasy villain, I think of either Darth Vader or Golbez. There's a reason actually that a lot of people say that he's basically the Darth Vader of RPGs. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like he has all those like qualities, right? He has like a very sinister, powerful team. You know, the one with the organs. We haven't heard it yet in FF14, but you guys probably know the one I mean. I think it's called Golbez Clad in Dark. Is the name of that team. You know, the one that goes really heavy on the organs. So he has like a very powerful team to like very imposing. He's wearing like badass armor. He's fuck huge. He's powerful, like very powerful. Like dude, this guy ain't fucking around. And I would want to say probably the thing they nailed the best in FF14 was the fact that he was competent. Like Golbez as a villain, he wasn't like some brute who just shows up and is like, "Hey man, I'm just kill everyone," kind of like Emperor Matthäus was in FF2, for example. No, Golbez was a very effective leader and just yeah, just very competent and very smart. And they really get that across in FF14. It's a bit subtle, but you know, if you go like into the backstory of why he recruited, for example, Mylon. Um, on the surface, like Mylon was this very weak being, so you would think, oh, that guy is not really worth taking in, right? Like for whatever his plan is. But he kind of realized that he needed someone who would kind of deal with the rabble, you know, like because when you talk to one of the Voids and they mentioned that Golbez's minions have been like devouring the weak as they go along, right? They've been kind of cleaning up shop basically, right? And I can imagine that that was mostly because of Mylon or Scarmillion, sorry. Because you know he was that kind of a person, you know, he's that kind of a scummy person who would like immediately, like, he's a coward, right? He um he would go for the weaklings because you know he's afraid to pick a fight with someone stronger than him. So Golbez needed someone like that. So he was like, yeah, let me take this dude. Yeah, Kangan, exactly. That's what I'm getting at. Like, it's stuff like that we can already see in FF14. Like Golbez he's competent, you know, and that kind of makes him scary. I remember, like, it's so funny when both Mylon and Vangelis are defeated. Golbez is kind of like he kind of doesn't even care. Like he's like, yeah, yeah, bro, whatever. He doesn't even seem to care if the other two die as well. Which just implies that he's probably way more powerful than what we expect. Which again, that would be in line with Golbez. Like, I recommend to not underestimate Golbez in FF14 since he seems pretty true to the OG. So yeah, I loved his depiction, dude. It was awesome. I'm so stoked to see more of Golbez. Yes, exactly. I think the side quest was really what sold me on his character more than the MSQ. I do think so. Some of the dialogue was also really interesting, right? Like, I found the exchange between Vangelis and Golbez really interesting, right? When Vangelis is like, yeah, I'm gonna take care of them, but I require that you let me devour the entire dragon, and it seems like Golbez didn't really seem to care. So it's kind of like, yeah, fine. Um, but I wonder if the outcome that happened was probably what he was hoping for, right? Because at this point, I think both Mylon and Vangelis have already kind of served their purpose for Golbez. So that's also probably why he also kind of didn't seem to give a fuck that we defeated two of his generals, because he kind of was like, yeah, they probably were a thorn at his side at this point anyway. So he was like, yeah, good riddance, right? So yeah, this dude is Golbez. Yeah, he's kind of terrifying, right? Like he's very powerful, very competent. Knows a lot of magic. I'm really looking forward to fighting him. I think it's gonna be a really awesome fight when we finally do get around to fighting Golbez. Uh, Now, obviously, so for the speculation, now keep in mind this is gonna be pure speculation, right? This is not gonna be because we don't know the answers yet. Like, they very much set up these mysteries on purpose. But the cutscene at the end was obviously very interesting, right, with Golbez. And a lot of people seem to be speculating that whatever he's talking about seems to may have something to do with Zodiac. And it is interesting that I remember when I finished Endwalker, there was something that confused me a bit, that they still haven't actually given an answer to, as far as I know, which is that if the moon was created to be like this kind of battle station by Heidelin so we can escape, then how come, like, it immediately brought two questions to my mind. First of all, why is there a moon on Elpis? And two, why can you see the moon in the first? Now, I kind of speculated the answer to these two questions might be, okay, maybe when Heidelin created the moon, it was based off of the one on Elpis, right? Like from the Unsundered world. And for the one in the first, maybe it's like one of those things where people in the reflections see the moon of the source. Like, they don't actually have their own moon, but they see like the source's moon. Those were kind of my theories back then, but I didn't ponder too much on it, right? Because it wasn't really important. But now it's kind of an important question because, well, we defeated Zodiac, right? But what happened to the other slices of Zodiac in those reflections? Because there are multiple ways to interpret this. You could say that because we defeated Zodiac, the other parts of him dissipated too. That is a possibility, because we never had such an instance, so we really don't know, and there's nothing in the game yet that hints at it. Another possibility is that there is basically a version of the moon. Oh, there we go. We're playing the Golbez team right on cue. We have the reflection. In like each reflection, there's a slice of the moon, and ergo a slice of Zodiac. So people are basically speculating, okay, what if Golbez's plan involves somehow using Zodiac to his advantage, like that one piece of Zodiac. And there's like kind of two hints at these potential hints. For me, what made me think of Zodiac was the way he phrased. He said like, the prison of passivity is an obstacle to my, I think like obstacle to my chosen cause. But the choice of words there seemed very specific to me, right? Because he says the prison of passivity, right? That's and what is Zodiac, right? He's the complete opposite. He's also imprisoned. So it immediately got thinking me of Zodiac. The other thing, and I think this is why most people catch on to it, was that the guy, he's clapping in the cutscene, right? You kind of see him like swing his sword at some dude, right? I think that like people think he's the Watcher from Mare Lamentorum. Ah, yes, I did read the short story. That is another interesting thing. Like the short story too was about the Watcher. So, well, about both Vena and the Watcher. So it kind of makes me think like that cannot be a coincidence, right? Like I do feel like the Watcher might be involved somehow with Golbez. Well, we actually don't know. That is an interesting question as well, Callan. Like, I wonder who Golbez was before the flood, or if he's even a native of the 13th. You know, it could be he's maybe something else. Like we really don't know. He's very mysterious at this time. Which, by the way, that too, like him being that mysterious, that is so fitting to FF4 as well. I love it. It's so awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of theories about like, you know, where Golbez comes from, what are his goals, how does he, what is the war he's talking about, that kind of stuff, right? But currently we obviously don't know, we only have speculation, but I think I'm very excited to see more. I think Golbez is just, as I said, like kind of like Zero. I think he's just a fantastic addition. I think he's a great villain. Now, I don't think Golbez is gonna be like I don't think he's gonna be like a long-lasting villain though. I think he's gonna be here just for this like Voidsent arc until we go into 7.0. I think he's that's probably why he's so heavy with like the throwbacks, right? Because so far all the villains in FF14 have been, well, they obviously had their inspirations from some of the villains in the series, but they were still, you know, fully original. Whereas this one is a straight up Golbez. Like, he's just Golbez ported into FF14 world, so. But it's kind of smart, though, like, you know, making use of him in that sense. It's going to be very exciting to fight him and also see what's going on with the Shadow Dragon, right? Alright, I wanted to add this extra section with FF4 spoilers. I'll put a timestamp on screen for you, so you can skip this segment if you haven't played FF4. I highly recommend you play it instead of being spoiled by me. So yeah, this will just be some extra discussion based on Golbez's portrayal in FF4. Do note that we can't expect the story to follow FF4 note for note, but we can get some hints at least, which is why I decided to include this segment. The first thing we have is that Golbez is the FF4's equivalent to the Ancients, because he's a Lunarian in FF4. Fu Soya is a reference to the Watcher, also a Lunarian/an Ancient. Fu Soya in FF4 is the one who breaks Zim's mind control over Golbez. It seems the two might be related in FF14 as well. Could Golbez also be related to the Ancients in some way? 2. He was mind controlled in FF4. He wasn't really an evil person, but his nature of leaning towards destructive magics to protect those dear to him and the amount of darkness in him led to him being susceptible. Maybe that plays into FF14? 3. He has a pretty tragic backstory. Though Golbez was powerful, he was quite bad at restorative magics, and this inability to even cast a simple cure spell resulted in his father's death, an event which scarred him for the rest of his life. He's an example of someone using destructive magics to protect those he loves. Maybe similarly, he lost someone in 14 due to his weakness, which motivates him to become more powerful, a motive similar to the Voidsent, but also a little more nuanced. And finally, he is Cecil's brother. Obviously, we don't have Cecil in this story, at least so far, so there's two ways to interpret this possible connection. Either there's a connection to the main character, so in this case the Warrior of Light, such as him being a shard of Azem or whatever, or we can take it a little more literally and say that he's a sibling to one of the characters like Zero or whatever. This is a very wide speculation though, and as I said, we might not see these ties to 4 that in depth. Oh, I also wanted to add this extra speculation. So in 6.1, a lot of theory crafting surfaced because of Golbez and Azdaja. Everyone correctly assumed that Azdaja was indeed a reference to his shadow dragon, but there was another theory that was proposed, that Golbez is Azdaja. Basically, that Golbez's body is just a simulacrum that Azdaja is using, similar to Vitra using Vashan. I think this mainly comes from how it appears that Golbez only has one eye, glowing in the center of his helmet. It's an interesting take, but this is again just pure speculation. So those have been my thoughts on Golbez. I really think they nailed him in FF14 and I can't wait to see more of him. Next time, we'll probably talk about the other new character, Zero, so look forward to that, and just as a reminder, subbing is the easiest way to stick around for it. Have a nice day!